Okay, remember that they are changing my voice. Okay, remember that they are changing my voice. So remember that they are changing my voice. Now, when we look at this picture, you see that there's the typical white knight complex. It's a book called Tears of the Sun. You see in the middle, there's a rock group, right? And the song's called Tears of the Sun. It's by Jupiter. Jupiter is the enemy of the sun, right? His Egyptian counterpart is Set, and Jupiter's Middle Eastern counterpart is Baal, and his Greek counterpart is Zeus, who's a deity of rape by deception. Is that a coincidence that the doctor in Tears of the Sun talks about how she was raped in Somalia? And in Irreversible, okay, that there's the same actress, Monica Bellucci, has a very pronounced rape scene, probably the most prolific rape scene in any Hollywood movie. Okay, in any movie, period, really, whether it's from Hollywood or not. It's not a coincidence. It's also not a coincidence in sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Rock is famous for rape, right? People get drunk, they run a train on them. Sometimes they say, who gives a shit? Those guys were dicks, and they kind of shake it off, right? And sometimes they kill themselves, they use drugs more, and it continues the cycle, right? So it's non-consensual sex is very much a part of the rock and roll culture, heavy metal, rock and roll, what have you, okay? And the roofies and all that, right? And, fraternities are more associated, I'd say, with a rock and roll lifestyle than being gangsters or something or anything else, right? So when we look at the three pictures on the screen, we see that there's commonalities, like in the picture with the Templars and the Baphomet. Just like in rock and roll, the Baphomet is key. And Baphomet is a symbol of rape, right? Gender-neutral rape. Most people don't want to be gay. They don't want to be part of orgies, so Romans had to abuse and rape people. And they refined their techniques, right? Psyche is a deity in the Greco-Roman system, where we get the word psychology. And Eros, her consort, where we get the word erotic desire. Okay, and Hermaphroditus, right? Where we get the word hermaphrodite. Is Hermes and Aphrodite amalgamated together, right? There you go, the combination, an abomination. And so, these guys in the picture are shaped like the Baphomet. Why? Because they're not great warriors. So they're trying to manipulate warfare because they have brain function issues, they have body issues, the brain and body are connected. There's some kind of sissies, okay, that don't fight very well in hand-to-hand combat, but they want to pretend they're great knights. And that kind of was the European model, right? The feudal lords, and they would go to battle with a lot of bodyguards. They'd have the fancy armor and the horse and the sword, where some of their soldiers would just have sticks and stones and pitchforks, right? Okay, and they wanted to pretend that they're great warriors, and that continued in the cult. That's what the cults are for, is to uphold the governing class and make and pretend that they're important and try to get them all the money and all the women, hot chicks, and so on and so forth. So we see the Greco-Roman psychology that's at play here, where you have the people in the military, right, the navies when they get dressed up, and the Marines when they get dressed up, the police ball, the boarding school, the crest-wearing guys, the suit-wearing guys, fancy restaurant. People constantly go to fancy restaurants, okay? They're not really the who's who, but society wants you to think that the who's who. Because anyone with sense looks at them as monsters who are mistreating everyone else and pretending to be important. Like, what kind of people govern society in the way that there's like 30 million plus rock and roll fans, okay? And they don't care about themselves and tattoos and piercings, and they're doing drugs, and there's all these homeless people. So we don't respect them, but they pretend. And that's part of the confusion, right? Use, confuse, and abuse, and it happens to rhyme with news. And the word Jews, no offense to anybody, for whatever reason, we'll say. And certainly it's the certain Jews and the LGBT people who are the main ones doing it, and they kind of dominate their cultures and cult and culture, cult at the root of culture, at the center of it, what have you. Okay, so we see that kind of unfairness. It's kind of like, I'm an important knight, and you're a useless rocker. Get him out of here. Yes, it's stupid, and no decent woman would marry that. So it's also a cultivative process to make sure that every female is seen as unworthy, and it's hard to think of any reason where that they would be worthy, right, to marry and reproduce, with no offense to anybody, but this has to be said. Now, why are they doing that? Because it's a rape culture. If you had nothing but nuns everywhere, and they were the most virtuous nuns that ever lived or something, and they were actually serving God and not the church and so on and so forth, okay, a lot of people wouldn't want to rape and abuse them. But when you have a bunch of argumentative feminists everywhere and racist conservatives, okay, people want to rape them. And, people in the ghetto rape them, people in fraternities, people in corporations, the Weinsteins, the Epsteins, okay, whether, allegedly the Puffy, allegedly Cosby, or whatever you want to call it. Okay? And those guys are the blacks and Jews, certain types of blacks and Jews that are scapegoated, while other types of people, especially certain types of whites and Jews and LGBT people, pretend that they're the ones you can run to for help. A little kid could come up with their strategy. It is sick, and oh my gosh, it's not smart. Their motives are stupid. Like it says in the Bible, the Lord weighs the motives, weighs the heart. They're heartless. They're senseless. It's undignified. Okay? They lack the self-respect to not do it. They don't respect their mothers and their sisters and their family and their neighbors. I mean, it is one stupid plan. That's why Cupid rhymes with stupid, because he's a stupid little demon brat that goes around shooting people with arrows and trying to control who dates who. And that is sick. That is disgusting. That is satanic. It is horny devil satanic. If you look it up, you'll see Cupid depicted as a little devil, because that's the devil's version, and it's not real love. Trying to force people to be gay is not spreading love. Forcing people to have sex changes as children is not love. Forcing people to be trannies to pay their rent is not love. Changing my voice and my image, trying to make me gay, that's sick. You're trying to make the most righteous person that ever lived seem gay, so that you can trick people into bed and hook them to artificial intelligence, remote control. If you don't believe me, look it up. The most powerful corporations, basically the most powerful corporations in the world, are investing heavily in brain hacking, artificial intelligence, mind control. Look it up. Mainstream news. Mainstream. Okay, so they put the word pro in provoke and fume. F you me. They're like, you have sex with me, right? F you, right? Fuck you, right? Fuck me. You fuck me, right? You F me. F you me. And fuck you me. I'm in charge. That's what they're saying with that. And provoke. It's simple. Position is poison. It's scrambled. Why is that? And then you have the gaslight, right? The gas is a play on words for gaze. Gaze light, gaslight. And the word mage is game scrambled. Their magic wand is a phallic symbol. Hollywood, right? Magic wand. And the word magic, right? You have the word game, I see, and mage, I see, and also cage. And I'm cage is part of the scramble, the occult cut up for the word magic, the word play. Play. Warding away the spirit of sense so you actually date who you're supposed to. And play. Lay. What don't people get? If you do not understand that death is preferred to assimilation, and you are fucking crazy, sick, demonic, evil. And if you have kids and you're teaching them to assimilate, what the fuck is wrong with you?